Hi, everybody. Stephen Meade here with Domicile Real estate for people who love houses. And also just to let you know, we are on a mission to help California's renters become homeowners, a mission that is proving a little bit more difficult than it has been before. I want to talk about something. This is our market update for Southern California and first-time or entry-level home buyers. And just like you, if you are in that category, if you've thought about buying a home, you've probably been at least casually watching the market. We obviously watch things a little bit more closely, and we're in the market. And I want to talk about something before we begin with our usual stats. Or actually, I want to talk about two things. The first is the data delay is killing us. And I'm going to tell you what I mean when I'm talking about the data delay. If you watch any of our videos, whenever we talk about closed home prices, we give a little bit of a disclaimer that these prices are reflective of the market 4 to 6 weeks ago. In a slower moving market, that doesn't really matter very much because the market wasn't that much different 4 to 6 weeks ago than it is today. And if it is different, we can usually extrapolate with some other data kind of what to think. But we're in a situation right now where interest rates have been rising the last 4 weeks, and that's created a very, very fast-paced environment. And so what it means is, on one hand, we have the data we're collecting, right, which is this closed listing data, but that now represents basically we're into January. So that tells us what the market was like in the beginning of January, but that's not how the market is right now at all. And so, there's a question when we look at that pricing data, how relatable is that to the market that we're facing today? And I believe that right now it is not very relatable to the market that we're facing today. And the hard thing is, in this industry, we have a lot of anecdotal data, right? So a good example is this. There's a home that is presently for sale in Fullerton. And the price of this home is listed as a range price, $750 to $799. The listing agent representing the seller just informed me that they are working with multiple offers and the price is currently up to $980 on this house in Fullerton, and that if we even want to see it, we're going to have to commit to going higher than that. And that I don't think is nearly as much of an outlier case right now. At least I don't believe it is, right? I'm hearing from several colleagues, and these are smart, experienced agents, right? People who know how to price a home. They didn't intentionally underprice this house by nearly $200,000. Or, roughly, wow. I mean, probably they didn't underprice it by over 20%. And so we're trying to find a surrogate for that data, right? Something that we can use that's numerical to give you some insight on where the prices are at this exact moment in time. We were looking at the list prices, right, of in escrow homes. The problem with that is, in our system in the MLS, when a property goes into escrow, we don't know what price it went in escrow. So if the list price was $799, unless the agent says something to us, there is nothing that discloses that $980K price. The only way we find that out is when it closes in 30 days or so, right? And by then we're well past that in the market. So, we're trying to look for a way to get a better insight on some of that pricing data, and it's hard. We're still looking. We'd love to bring that data to you so you have the better ability to make decisions. Okay, that's the first thing that we're going to talk about. We're going to go through the stats, and then you're going to have to wait until the end, and I'm going to talk about the second thing that I wanted to mention to you today. So just sit tight real quick here. We are going to go ahead and go through those stats. So give me a second here. We're going to pull those up and we're going to go through kind of our normal program here. So, all right. So let's look at our closed prices again at that entry level end of the market. This is the first quartile. It is for LA and Orange counties. And this is as of today, February 11th, 2022. You see things did take a jump to 730 here. Based on just sort of an anecdotal feeling, I think the reality is, remember, this is based on closings this past week, which means this is based on transactions from a month or so ago. I think in reality, we're actually somewhere up here on this graph. I do not think that this is accurate for pricing in the market at present for either of these. So we're showing you this graph, but like I said, my concern is that I don't think this is a terribly accurate price. I think we have moved into new price point territory for sure, based on what I'm seeing. One of the things that's happened this week, maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't, is interest rates actually jumped 0.25% over a several day period, which is a pretty fast little jump there. So this is the first thing, is we're showing you this data, but I really want you to understand, especially in certain pockets and areas, I think this data is wildly out of step with the market because it's just too old. So again, if we're looking at payment level, you see the payment level shooting up here, right? Part of the reason for that, again, is that those interest rates are going up. I think in reality, we're at this $4,500 level up here if we're using today's pricing, and we're probably close to $4,000 down here in the condo territory. Minimum household income, again, similar jump. So I'm going to go through that stuff pretty quickly. Now, this is another one that I think is interesting for us to look at. I'm a little surprised. Look at how that condo figure is actually higher than our entry-level single-family home data. And even still, this is a 14-day absorption rate. So this is looking at everything that came up on the market in the last 14 days. What percentage, if 1,000 homes came on the market, how many homes went into escrow? And for once, our condo number is higher than it is for entry-level single family, implying that condo market is in fact more competitive. Someone had asked, do we see buyers shifting towards the condo market because of rising prices? I think this is exactly that moment that we are starting to see that happen in significant numbers. Our absorption rate on our entry-level single family homes is still at 90%. That is bordering on crazy town. And I think if this were a 7-day absorption rate, we would see this number even higher. Total inventory. So, in our broad overall market, we've seen a little bit of improvement in the last week. Not so for our entry-level market. For our single-family homes, we have stalled out on inventory. For entry-level condos, we have actually seen inventory retreat and start heading below that 600 unit number. Bear in mind, let's just remember in November of 2020, at our peak inventory, we had 1,900 entry-level condos active on the market. Today, barely over 600. I mean, that is a 2/3 drop, folks. Similarly, looking at where's our peak inventory been for entry-level single-family homes, right around 1,800 units as recently as August of last year. Where are we today? Under 1,000, almost a 50% drop in the available inventory out there. Really, a lot of our market woes are being fueled by simply not having enough homes available to buy, period. Now, if you look at our 14-day still active percent, one of the things this does is it looks at, instead of just tracking in general number of homes that came on versus the number that went into escrow, we look at the actual listings that came on in the last 14 days. How many of those are still available? We're looking at about 65%, but that number has taken a dive. And I think we're going to see ourselves end up down in this low area. Again, I'm fascinated that condos and entry-level single families are both taking that dive. Typically, our condo market, as you can see, is usually a little bit softer. Not so at the moment. And then finally, we have our weak supply of homes. And this should really tell you a lot about the market. If you look at our condo for the first time, we have or not the first time, but actually, no, I think it is the first time, we have dropped below 3 weeks of inventory for condos. We have not ever seen that in our market since we've been tracking. So that is something new. And we are at about 2.5 weeks of inventory in terms of our entry-level single-family homes, kind of matching our low point through this period of time last year. Now I'm going to talk about our second thing. And our second thing is, this is going to sound a little bit more emotional, and this is a message for you. If you are out there and you are a potential first-time home buyer, maybe you're a person who would like to buy this year, you're not quite ready yet. It's never too early to reach out to us, by the way. But you're going to watch this data and you're going to watch these prices rise, and you're going to watch interest rates go up, and you're going to get just a terrible feeling of dread in your stomach, and you're going to wish, why couldn't I have bought a house 3 years ago? And I'm going to tell you right now, stop doing that. That is not going to lead you to a road of happiness. You know, on the grand scale of things, wouldn't it have been nice if I had been born 20 years before and could have bought a house personally 20 years before I did, right? Like, I mean, we can all point to a time, knowing what we know now, that would have been better for us to have taken a certain action. Don't waste any of your mental energy on that. Spend your mental energy on developing skills in your job. Spend your mental energy on saving and developing a plan for homeownership. You know, the number of people, you know, if you're blindly rich and you make $500,000 a year, you don't have to have a plan for homeownership. You can probably just do it whenever you want. Now, for the rest, the other 99% of you who are watching this, you need a plan for homeownership, and it's not going to happen if you don't have a plan. So definitely reach out to us. That's one of the things that we like to do for people, is help them develop a plan that's resilient to market conditions and gives them, you know, gives you opportunities and the ability to kind of weather some of these storms. So I'm telling you, it's going to be a bumpy ride, I think, for the next little bit here, at least, and probably for a while. But I don't want you to mentally kind of go down that path of basically just freaking out and going into the fetal position. It's not going to help, and you're not going to feel any better. So that's that. Again, kind of bizarre market a little bit. I wonder how much of the buying right now, and the stories that we're starting to hear, are panic buying because of rising interest rates. People feeling like they're going to get priced out and they should just buy something, anything, for whatever price. I think that's part of it, but our market fundamentals are, we just don't have enough houses, and that's not a transient situation. That's a perennial problem. Yeah, so happy Friday, everybody. Sorry I don't have better news for you. You know that this isn't a rosy video update. You know, if you're out there, you need to keep at it. The other thing I was going to say is, buying a home right now is not a casual thing that you can kind of do on the side. It's something you need to focus on and be deliberate in your actions with. That's what we do with our clients, and that's really the number one way that we achieve success for them. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Questions and comments, we love them. And if you would like a real estate app that gets fresh data directly from the MLS and does not sell your data or show you ads, definitely download our app. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again real soon.